My cousin faked my mom's death as a prank. So, I refused to attend her wedding and cut her out of my life. I'm 15. I never thought a birthday prank would spiral into this much drama, but here we are. Looking back now, I can pinpoint the exact moment everything changed: a simple rubber snake on my cousin Kobe's birthday cake. Our family has always been big on pranks. It's practically tradition. Every birthday, every holiday, someone's getting pranked. Usually, it's all in good fun. Kobe, an nurse who's normally the life of the party, had always been one of the main instigators. But this year was different. The party had started normally enough. The decorations were up, music was playing, and everyone was in high spirits. I remember helping my aunt set up the cake, a beautiful 3-tiered vanilla creation with buttercream frosting, Kobe's favorite. The snake looked ridiculous sitting there, its fake rubber tongue flicking out near the happy birthday writing. We all expected laughs, maybe a playful scream, the usual reaction to our family pranks. Are you kidding me? Kobe had snapped when she saw the snake. Her face turned an alarming shade of red, eyes blazing with an anger none of us had ever seen before. I can't believe you guys would do this. The room went silent, the festive atmosphere evaporating instantly. We were all taken aback by her reaction. It seemed excessive for such a harmless prank, but none of us could have predicted what would happen next. Looking back, maybe we should have seen the warning signs. Kobe had been different lately, more on edge, snapping at small things. But we chalked it up to wedding stress. She was in the middle of planning her ceremony, after all. If only we'd known what she was capable of. A few days later, I was sitting in the school cafeteria, picking at my lunch and chatting with friends about upcoming exams. When my phone rang, seeing Kobe's name flash across the screen, I figured she was picking me up early, maybe for a dress fitting or something wedding-related. We'd been close enough that she'd asked me to be her flower girl, even though at 15 I was older than usual for the role. "Hey, Kobe, what's up?" I answered, still half focused on my friend's story about chemistry class. Her voice was eerily calm, almost clinical. "There's been an accident." My stomach clenched. Something about her tone made my blood run cold. "What do you mean?" "It's your mom. She didn't make it. Car crash." She proceeded to describe the scene in horrific detail, the twisted metal, the blood, things no 15-year-old should have to hear about their mother. The world stopped spinning. The cafeteria noise faded to a distant buzz. My mother and I might not have the perfect relationship. What teenager does? But she's still my mom. The thought of her being gone. I felt bile rising in my throat as Kobe continued with her grotesque description. With trembling fingers, I tried calling Mom. No answer. My heart was pounding so hard I could barely breathe. I stumbled to the bathroom, barely making it before I started sobbing. Finally, I called my dad, barely able to speak through the tears. "Dad," I choked out, "Mom's dead." There was a pause on the other end.
"What?
"I just talked to her 20 minutes ago."
What are you talking about?"
After I explained what Kobe had told me, Dad's voice turned ice cold. "Stay where you are. I'm picking you up." It wasn't until later that I learned he'd immediately called Mom, confirming she was perfectly fine at work. That evening, my aunt, not Kobe's mom, called an emergency family meeting. We all gathered in her living room, the tension thick enough to cut with a knife. I sat there, still shaking from the day's events, while my parents flanked me protectively on either side. "What were you thinking?" my aunt demanded of Kobe, who sat across from us, looking surprisingly unrepentant. Kobe shifted uncomfortably, but there was a defiant set to her jaw. It was just payback for the snake prank. Payback? I stood up, shaking with rage and leftover fear. "You told me my mother was dead. That's not a prank. That's cruel." My voice broke on the last word, and Mom pulled me close. "I'm sorry," Kobe said, but her apology felt hollow, like she was reading from a script. "I overreacted. I never want to speak to you again," I declared, and I meant it. The room erupted into chaos after that, some defending Qley, others condemning her actions. But I didn't care. At that moment, something fundamental had broken between us. Fast forward to now. Kobe's wedding was supposed to be the event of the year. A grand affair at the local botanical gardens, with fairy lights and flower arches. The works. I was supposed to be her flower girl. Even though I'm 15, they wanted me involved because of our special bond. Or what used to be our special bond, anyway. But after what happened, I pulled out. Not just from being a flower girl, but from attending altogether. "You're being petty," Kobe yelled when I told her. "People will ask questions. What am I supposed to tell them?" "Let them ask," I shot back. "Tell them the truth, that you told your teenage cousin her mother was dead, as revenge for a rubber snake." The day of the wedding came, and despite the pressure from various family members, I stood firm in my decision not to attend. Instead, I spent the day with my best friend, trying to ignore the flood of texts from relatives telling me I was being difficult. But then something unexpected happened. Her fiancé, who I've always been close to since he and Kobe used to babysit me, tried to intervene. "Look," he messaged me, "I know what she did at school was wrong, but it was just a prank." That's when I lost it. Just a prank? She told me my mother was dead. Do you have any idea what that did to me? I sent him screenshots of the therapy appointments I'd needed afterward, the nightmares I still sometimes have. He went quiet for a moment. "Wait, what?" "She told me she just sent you a scary picture." That's when everything unraveled. Turns out Kobe and her mom had lied to him about what really happened. They downplayed the incident, making it sound like a harmless Halloween-style joke rather than the psychological torture it actually was. When I told him the truth, he was horrified. The wedding ceremony was already underway when he got my message. Guests were seated, music was playing, and Kobe was getting her final touches done in the bridal suite. According to my cousin who was there, her fiancé waited until she walked down the aisle. Then, in front of everyone, he simply said, "I can't marry someone who would do that to a child," and walked away. The chaos that followed was spectacular. Kobe collapsed in tears, her mother started screaming, and guests sat in stunned silence as the groom walked out of his own wedding. He left to stay with his mother, and now everyone's blaming me for ruining their relationship. "You had no right to tell him." Kobe's mom screamed at me over the phone later that day. "Do you have any idea how much money we spent on this wedding? How embarrassing is this?" No right to tell the truth? I fired back. Maybe you shouldn't have lied in the first place. Here's the thing. I've known them as a couple since I was 8. They've always seemed solid, which is why I feel terrible about this whole situation. Her fiancé was always kind to me, would help me with homework when he came over, never treated me like an annoying kid. He and Kobe seemed perfect together, both in healthcare, both loved traveling, both wanted the same things in life. Or so we thought. But as my best friend pointed out, "You didn't ruin anything," she told me firmly. "Their relationship is struggling because Kobe lied, not because you told the truth." She's right, of course. But it's hard not to feel guilty when your whole family is treating you like you're the villain. The wedding gifts had to be returned, deposits were lost, and Kobe's reputation in our small town took a massive hit. Some bridges, once burned, aren't worth rebuilding. The fallout continues. My aunt insists I'm being dramatic, that I should just forgive and forget. But how do you forget something like that? How do you trust someone who could be so deliberately cruel? And more importantly, how do you trust someone who would then lie about their cruelty to the person they claim to love? Kobe has tried reaching out several times since the wedding disaster. Her messages swing wildly between apologetic and accusatory. One minute she's begging for forgiveness, the next she's blaming me for ruining her life. I've blocked her number, but she finds ways to get through, creating new social media accounts, sending messages through family members. The latest drama erupted when she showed up at my school, trying to force a confrontation. The school security had to escort her out, and now my parents are considering a restraining order. It's like the woman who used to babysit me, who taught me how to braid my hair and made me laugh when I was sad, has been replaced by someone I don't recognize at all. In the end, This isn't just about a prank gone wrong. It's about trust, about respect, about the lines we draw in relationships. Kobe crossed a line I never thought she would, and then she lied about it to the person she was planning to marry. Whatever happens to her relationship isn't on me, it's on her. My dad puts it best. Sometimes the hardest part of growing up is realizing that the people we look up to aren't always worthy of that pedestal. I'm only 15, but I've learned that family isn't just about blood. It's about respect, trust, and treating each other with basic human decency. And sometimes, the most respectful thing you can do is walk away from those who don't understand that. As for her fiancé, he reached out to me last week. He's doing okay, processing everything and focusing on his work. He thanked me for telling him the truth, saying it helped him dodge a bullet. Sometimes the right thing hurts, he wrote, but that doesn't make it any less right. Looking back at that rubber snake on the birthday cake, it seems almost absurd that something so small could trigger such massive changes. But maybe the snake wasn't the trigger at all. Maybe it just exposed cracks that were already there, truths that needed to come to light. I don't know what the future holds for our family. The wounds are still fresh, the lines still clearly drawn between those who think I should get over it and those who understand why I can't. But I do know this. I'd rather stand alone in my truth than be accepted for pretending something cruel was okay. Sometimes growing up means making hard choices, standing your ground even when it feels like the whole world is against you. I may have lost my relationship with Kobe, but I've gained something more valuable, the understanding that I deserve to be treated with respect and the courage to demand it.